Welcome to the main Slate Mashup, hosted by Season Long DFS. I'm Jamie, and I am joined by Liam and Rich this week. How are you boys doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Saying to you pre-recording this, you just literally come off another podcast about half an hour ago, so 2 podcasts in an evening. So yeah, pretty hectic, but glad to be back.
Humble brag.
What you call it that?
How you doing, Rich?
I'm good. Yeah, last week I couldn't find my mic cable for the Dyson, as you like to call it, and did a test before this, and it seemed like it was it's going really well.
You are a little bit fuzzy, Rich, but we'll go through this, mate. We'll get through this.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel you did last week? We've obviously got this season on DFS leaderboard in the background. Rich, how do you think you did last week?
I thought I was going to climb up the board a little bit more than I did. I swung for the fences a little bit. That's now my strategy. Like, I'm either going to try and go hard or go home. I just want to try and get a bit further up the board. So did okay. I had Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers, which I think combined for probably the majority of that total.
It was good. The teams around you outscored them by about 30 odd points. So
yeah,
you've got to be happy with that. I did shocking.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I'm hoping to see a 2 in front of your score this week, Rich. No pressure. Yeah, you got 123.7 last week. Liam, how do you feel about last week?
I mean, I did the best out of the three of us. It wasn't exactly a home run, was it, in terms of performances? No, I'll take it. Kyler Murray bailed me out as per usual. Yeah. But yeah, it's him that one big week, as you say, Jamie, and climbing back at the leaderboard.
Exactly. We'll say 130. I think the average, it wasn't a good average for the competition last week. I think it was like 127 or 126 or something was the average, which was poor because we've had 170 or so. It's a couple of weeks ago. It's an average, or 160.
Yeah.
I got 116 points. Thank you, Kyler Murray, for saving my arse. Let's put it that way. I had an 80-point lead. Now I've only got a 40-point lead. This 1 week can really mess you up a little bit. I'm trying to think who got the highest score. I think last week the highest score was, I think it was the boy. If I can find him on there. Here we go. 157.48. And then second place was M. Garvey 14 at 156.20. That's not good for me, really. I don't want to see the 2 people behind me, or even you, Liam, score more than me, because it makes me a little bit worried. but bring on week 11. Bring on week
Definitely.
11. It's an interesting looking at the prices, and there isn't a huge amount that kind of really stands out to me this week, if I'm honest. I don't think, but let's get straight onto that, shall we? Let's go on to our high price players that we like this week, guys. Liam, start us off with QBs, high price QB or 2, however many it is that you like this week.
Yeah, I was struggling with the high price QBs because there's not a lot on the slate that I actually love. Obviously, there's no Mahomes, no Allen, people like that. So I kind of was looking at Teddy Bridgewater at 6,400. Now I understand. Yeah, I understand he's got the questionable tag on him, but he had a positive MRI earlier in the week, and he's been practicing, I should say, limitly. So I'm expecting him to develop as the week goes on and be all good for Sunday. And this Detroit defense can't really defend anything, to be completely frank. And with the Panthers defense being exactly the same, I'm expecting a bit of a shootout. So I'm expecting plenty of opportunity for Teddy B to get plenty of points this weekend and warrant that price rise he's got.
Okay, cool. Well, I quite like that, mate. I quite like that. Rich, what about you, buddy?
I've opted for Justin Herbert.
Spicy. Is it just because it's the Jets?
It's not just because it's the Jets. Like, because on paper,
Is it his new
the
haircut?
It's just. I've not got a massive belief in the Chargers' running game, and they seem to just constantly be looking to him to throw the ball. I mean, you got it up on screen now. He had 32 attempts last game, but the 3 games previous to that, over 40.
Yeah.
This offense kind of flows through him at the moment, especially with Alvin Kamara, Austin Eckler out. Although I saw an Instagram video that seems to suggest he'll be back soon. So we'll see.
So exciting getting this Eckler back.
But yeah, at the moment, that's my expensive guy for right now.
Cool. I'm torn this week. I thought about Big Ben going up against Jacksonville at 6,700.
Yeah, I considered him. I was kind of worried about game script.
I know, but the last 2 weeks he's been everything is stood out. It said it's going to be a James Conner game. It's going to be a James Conner game. The last 2 weeks they should run over these teams, and they're a passing offense now. Big Ben's just like, I'm just going to do what I want. I'm just going to throw the ball everywhere.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Jacksonville defense played pretty well last week. Even though what I said, I'm leaning towards it might be more of a running kind of, but you'll see more James Conner than we have the last couple of weeks. So I'm turning into a massive homer. Matt Ryan for me, 6,300 going on the road to face the Saints. Matt Ryan is usually as solid as they come. This is hate week for the Falcons and the Saints. They both hate each other. The Saints defense, especially secondary, they say they got Marshawn Lattimore, but he's just holding him a cold face. I think Matt Ryan will do okay this week, and hopefully with Calvin Ridley back as well. You've got Ridley, Julio. We're not using Gurley because he's not a pass catching back anymore. Hurst, and he's got a lot of ammunition to go with there. So I'm quite liking him even against this defense, which can be stingy, but I think he'll put up 20, 23, 25 points, which would be quite nice. So yeah, he's my high price QB. What are your guys' thoughts on Matt Ryan? Are you kind of a bit kind of against it this week because it's against that Saints defense?
I'm not. I'm okay with it. The Atlanta Falcons defense isn't that great, so we know they're going to have to score points to stay in this, and they have an offense that can do it. So, and as you said, really, I know you said Gurley's not a pass catching back, but it's barely a running back at this point.
I was trying to be nice to him.
So really, I'm not kind of worried. He feels fine to play. Yeah. It's not like one of these ones where I'm excited to have him in my lineup, but I'm not hating it either. It's just fine.
That's fair. Right, let's go on to running backs. Rich, running backs, you like high price running backs?
Yeah, I mean, it's Alvin Kamara.
yeah, it was pretty obvious, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if DraftKings are actually going to bring something in that says that he's going to have to fill like a wide receiver spot at the same time. Like if they're going to somehow have it so it's dual. So you only select him once, and he takes up 2 spots because that's how it seems like it would be kind of fair. I mean, the amount of targets he's getting in that offense are ridiculous. The carries that he's getting, he's getting enough touches, getting enough usage that I don't think you can put anyone else in. And we all know the news with Drew Brees and his injury. So part of me thinks that James Winston will just go, I am not dumping it off. I am James Winston. This is going downfield. Part of me just thinks that they'll just say, just give it to Alvin.
Do you know, I was looking today, Jameis Winston obviously in any games he's played against the Falcons, just in general fantasy points, I think he's scored like 29 points in minimum of 29 fantasy points against the Falcons in like every single game he's played against them.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it seems legit. Like,
it's stupid.
He just doesn't care. This is the thing.
That's
It's
a beautiful thing.
It's where he just goes like, I mean, it's only quadruple coverage. That's fine.
The one thing, Kamara is on my list. He's top of my list. But the one thing, I think he's going to be more valuable in the passing game than he will be in the running game. The Falcons' run defense has been pretty good this year. It's the one relatively good thing about the defense is you haven't really been able to run on us because our secondary is so bad. You just need to just pass on us.
Yeah, I mean that seems fine. I mean, as I said before, Aaron Kamara seems like he's catching a lot of balls as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know about you two guys. I've been finding it pretty difficult. I don't know if you've looked into too much just yet. It's quite early in the week, but in terms of building lineups with Kamara in, I found it quite difficult in terms of balancing it out. With obviously such a high price tag. I don't know. Obviously, maybe get onto it later regarding our lineups for the head-to-head competition.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you had any thoughts on maybe, is Kamara worth it compared to other options that are available, which we'll get onto in a second.
Well, it's going to be difficult, isn't it? It's similar to last week with Devontae Adams, wasn't he? 9,000, and it was fairly difficult to build I don't want to say structured lineup around him, but you know what I mean. I think there are enough lower value plays that you probably could, similar to last week. So, but yeah, no, we'll get onto that more later, I suspect.
Yes.
Liam, what about you, running back wise, mate?
So I've been looking at two. I know you're on one of them, Jamie, from our chat pre-recording. So I mentioned the other one. It's Mike Davis again. Now, we always see this at DraftKings, right? As a chalk player, he does terrible the week everyone plays him. Then the next week is the week he hits. And I have a feeling that Mike Davis is going to be that player this week. Obviously, you've seen a pretty substantial price increase because of no CMC at
by about 65%.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. But he's in the best matchup he could possibly get against Detroit. Literally the worst team against running backs in terms DFS wise. And it just feels like that type of week where he's everyone played and he's terrible, and no one's going to play him this week, and he's going to do really good. And I'll probably play in most lineups and hope that theory works out.
I kind of got a bit burned by Mike Davis last week, only banging in like 8.4 points. I know this is a much better matchup for him against Detroit than it was last week against the Bucks. It's just it's that price there. It's 6,800, which I kind of I don't want any of it.
I'll just interject here. You are aware he's playing Detroit.
Yeah, I know exactly. He's going to...
Okay, I just wanted to check when the weeks mixed up or something like that.
Yeah, I know he is, but he's like 5 weeks since he scored more than 10 points.
Weren't those weeks against Detroit?
Look at who's playing, like Tampa Bay, New Orleans, KC. And that was KC was for TMC, wasn't it? So I mean, I get it. I get why people are put off by it.
It's just the price, I think, is the thing for me. I'm just a little bit. I see.
So Jamie, if you look at how many points have been given up to the position by Detroit Lions, it's 36.6 points on average.
Okay, I want to be a bet that he doesn't bang 36.6 points in.
I'm not. No, that's to the whole position. Now,
do you think he has the best week of his season so far?
What was his best week?
The best?
29.9 against the Falcons. 9-10.
I feel like it's going to be right about there.
Okay.
Genuinely.
Do you want to set the line at 28.5 points?
Go for that. Yeah.
Okay, I will go under. You boys want to go over 28?
I mean, I've got to go over after that. See, I've got to go over.
That would get him that would be very, very good. That's probably 4.5 times the value.
I mean, we've seen it so many times of this type of thing happen to DraftKings. It happens every single week. It happened with me with Brandon Cooks earlier in the season, and I just feel it's going to happen again, and I can't not play him. I'll bite the bullet.
I wouldn't criticise anybody for that. I will have him in a lineup or two. Don't get me wrong. It's just that 6,800 which makes me just a little bit kind of. I haven't tried to put a lineup with him in it at that.
Yeah.
To see how happy I am. If he were 5,800, I'd be way more for it. And I think that.
I mean, I'm just going to say, spoiler alert. Our lineups. I've got my lineup has Kamara and Mike Davis in it.
Interesting.
Ooh, interesting.
So there we go.
That's a sneak peek. I'll go on to mine, shall we? Where is he? It's DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
6,400 going up against Carolina. Last week, Patricia actually said he was going to get the lion's share, be the RB1 for him. Don't know if many people believed him, but came out 16 attempts, 81 yards, 5 targets, 5 catches, and a touchdown. I think if any last week's to go on against Washington, coming up against his Carolina defense, I really like Swift for me at 6,400. You boys, kind of any thoughts on DeAndre?
Yep, love him.
Yep.
He's finally getting the touches. He's almost a must play for me at this point.
Yeah, totally agree. Let's go wide receivers. Liam, I know which one you're going to go with.
Yes, Keenan Allen, 7,400. I believe I mentioned last week, JB, not to play Keenan Allen because he had a Xavier Howard coverage, and lo and behold, he did terrible. And I don't know who's getting coverage by in this game against the Jets, but I don't care, to be honest. I'm playing him regardless. You can see there for the target shares he's getting, it's pretty consistent, and I don't think one bad week against a really good Miami defense is going to put people off playing him. It hasn't me.
He didn't kill you last week, let's say that.
No, his touchdown saved him completely. But in terms of the money you're paying for Keenan Allen, you need
7,400.
near 20 points, to be honest. Really feel like you got value for money. I feel like he's a target hog for Herbert. And if Rich, if you're liking Herbert this week, I'm sure you're playing Allen as well.
He was the guy I had written down. So you stole my guy.
Is there anyone else? Sorry. Is there anyone else, Rich?
I'll pivot to. I'll pivot to Chase Claypool.
Oh, okay.
Steve.
Yeah, I just feel as though the offense is kind of seeming like they want to just kind of get him the ball. Like the targets are there. He's getting the odd rush attempt near the goal line. I mean, one of those attempts against Cincinnati was just like god awful. But I think it's just because it's like as soon as they had the ball, it's just like everyone's like, we know what you're doing, jet sweep. But I mean, it's more a riskier play than Keenan Allen, I feel. But I just think he could pop off.
Yeah, no, he definitely could. 2 touchdowns last week, a touchdown against Baltimore. So that's 3 in the last couple of weeks. I'm just having a look and seeing. So you've got Juju, who's 64. Claypool at 61, and then you've got Deontay Johnson at 59, who, in my opinion, they still haven't priced up correctly. I think he should be a little bit more. I've got 2 that I really like this week. One of them being, and this is based on if he's 100%, basically if he's healthy, if he's playing, that's Calvin Ridley. You've got obviously Julio on the other side, who is more than likely not going to be shadowed by Holding McHoldface Lattimore, which leaves Calvin Ridley to basically take the piss out of any other defensive back he wants to. He's a fantastic route runner. I think I saw a stat on Twitter earlier, which was in 16 games against the Saints, Julio got like 1,600 yards and 3 touchdowns, and in Calvin Ridley's 6 games, he scored 4. So he's scored more touchdowns against the Saints than Julio has. Julio's going to be double teamed anywhere near the red zone. Calvin Ridley has played really, really well this year. And at 7,000, it's not a smash play for me, but it's kind of if I'm liking Matt Ryan, I'm either going to like Julio or Ridley. And I think Ridley's probably got a slightly higher upside than Julio this week, just because of how the Saints defense might play both of them. So he's one. And the other one is Terry McLaurin. going up against the Bengals defense, who are awful. Last week was, what did he get? He's seen a steady amount of targets, 12, 11, 8, 9 in the last 4 weeks, 7 receptions exactly for the last 4 weeks. Alex Smith seems to be settling down a little bit now under centre for the Skins. I think he's 390 yards last week and 330 or something the week before. McLaurin is a fantastic wide receiver. He's grown on me since he's come out. Yeah, against the Cincinnati at 6,900, I really like that play. Your boys' thoughts on those two?
Yeah, I've been a big fan of Scary Terry for the whole season pretty much. And yeah, as you said, he's even the constant changing QB, he's proven that he's a wide receiver 1 in this league, and he's getting that consistent target share. So yeah, I quite like that play. Ridley, I don't know yet. So I think it's a wait and see on Ridley, as you said, Jamie, in regards to how healthy is he. And
I want to see him. I want to see him get a full practice in this week.
Yeah, exactly.
That's massively important.
If he gets that on the Friday, then yeah, that could be huge.
Yeah, exactly. Rich, any thoughts, or do you want to move on to tight ends?
Let's move on to tight ends.
Okay, Rich, you can start with tight ends. Who's your tight end you like? High priced.
I mean, it's all pretty much a cesspool, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much a cesspool. But I think the only guy that I'd probably be kind of happy putting him. Can I say Cook? Is that slightly too low, or
no?
No, okay.
Not when Andrews is only 4,900.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't really like any of them up until there's maybe Hunter Henry, who, if you want a cheaper stack with Herbert, go for him. But I think standalone, I'd probably go for Jared Cook or Dallas Goedert, who I'd maybe just put in that bracket.
Maybe just put. What about you, Liam?
Yeah, I quite like Hayden Hurst.
Ding 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 ding.
Yeah, he's seen a fairly steady target share, and obviously we had this same sort of theory of Engram last weekend, and that worked out well, didn't it? But it's hard to ignore this type of theory where they're getting this target share, and you like to think they're going to keep getting that this week, heading into a matchup where New Orleans aren't the best against tight ends anyway.
New Orleans are the worst. They're horrendous.
And if we're thinking about Winston's going to be more than capable of keeping up with Atlanta in terms of putting up points, things like that, then I like to think Hurst is middle of the field when you got Ridley and Julio going deep. That Hurst can see some nice action in the short area of the field.
Hurst was my tight end that I liked, mate. So he's seen 8 targets last week, 7 the week before, 6, 5, and 7 receptions. Hasn't seen a touchdown in the last 3 weeks. I will like him, especially against the Saints. I will like him way more if Calvin Ridley doesn't get a full practice in.
Okay, interesting.
I will, or if Ridley misses. Because he'll turn into the number 2 target. And the Falcons aren't going to be running the ball against the Saints, just put it that way. They're not going to.
Can they even run the ball?
No, we haven't got a running back, mate.
I didn't think you did. Just check.
Defenses. I'm going to start with defense that I quite like this week. It's the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah. They're just. I don't think it matters who they go up against. They're just incredibly consistent. I was meaning to look at my my dynasty rankings of defense for the start of the year. I did in the off season, and I swear I've got Miami top 5 coming into the year because I thought they showed a bit of promise last year, and boy oh boy have they really picked up this year. They're just. You're going to get a steady. You're getting 6 points from them, aren't you?
Yeah, and what his face this week? What, Brett Ripien or something? If Drew Lock doesn't go, so
This could be a massacre. So we're all on the Dolphins, are we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the only other one I'd mention is Chargers because they're going up against Joe Flacco, I believe.
Yeah, I made a note of Cleveland as well, just because of the steady sack rate. I think Wentz has been sacked 3.5 times per game this season, and Cleveland.
Wentz loves it. Wentz loves a cheeky sack.
And once you add on to that the 1.2 INTs he's throwing per game as well, that's what a good 6-7 points already. So yeah, I quite like Cleveland if you don't have the money to get up to Miami.
Okay, lovely. Right, we've gone through our high price that we like. Let's have a look at our mid to low price players that we quite like. Rich, start us off with QB. Who do you like in the kind of the mid to low price range?
I've got 2.
Oh,
so famous Jameis.
He's one of mine. Yep.
I just think, if we think Andy Allen are going to be having to throw the ball, it needs to come on offense, and Jameis is Jameis. Like, he puts up fancy points, doesn't really care too much about what's happening. He's just going to throw the ball.
Plus, interceptions are only -1, aren't they? On DraftKings. So does it matter? Yeah, I think they're only. I think they're only -1 per interception.
Okay.
So yeah, you could throw 3 or 4. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. So the price is pretty good. I mean, they priced Drew Brees up pretty high in this matchup. Atlanta are not good against defense at all, against quarterbacks at all. So,
right, 31, 303.2 passing yards a game. Not very good. Just quickly, Jameis is a question that we had from someone from Lucky Fantasy Guy at Lucky Fantasy Guy on Twitter, Martin. He just said thoughts on playing Jameis Winston this week. Liam, kind of your thoughts on playing him this week?
Yeah, I wasn't really that appealed by him, but obviously with your two guys talking about him over this podcast, it's kind of making me like him a bit more, just because of the points he's scoring against Atlanta, and as you said, they're going to need to keep up with them in a sense. So yeah, I mean, it's growing on me a bit. I mean, I've got other options at the position, but yeah, I say famous Jameis is growing on me definitely.
Yeah, I'm happy to have a lineup or two with Jameis in. I think what I saw last week was when he came in, it was, I think, 6 for 10. I think it was something like that, 6 for 10 for 63. Yeah. He missed a couple of. He got under the ball, high balls basically to Michael Thomas a couple of times, and maybe that's just he stepped in, isn't sure kind of what's all happening, and needs a good week of practice to get himself kind of acclimatized, practicing with the first team offense. And against this week against Falcons will all be good. I think Bridgewater last year when he stepped in for Breeze didn't do great in the game he stepped in, and then the next game it picked up nicely for him. So the price is nice as well. It's $5,900 for Jameis. So yeah, I wouldn't put anyone off playing him. I would not. So hopefully, Martin, that has answered any questions you may have. Who is your second guy?
I felt like I need to stick with nicknames. So the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Again, it's the price is pretty good. $5,300 going against a Minnesota secondary that is alternatively different. And I think that we've seen him struggle earlier in the season, but I think I think he'll turn it around. I think he's a better player than we've seen on tape this season, and he's got a lot of pieces on offense. So
yeah, I was high on Andy Dalton. I thought he would be perfect for the Patriots in the off season, but obviously it didn't happen. First couple of games were horrendous for him, but I at $5,300, the price is kind of just asking for him to be played, isn't it? You can put a good lineup around him. Liam, what do you think about Andy Dalton this week? The Red Rifle.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. It's his first game back after that pretty nasty concussion, right? But yeah, it's a nice matchup, and actually it's a pretty decent price, to be fair. Same price as people like Alex Smith. So yeah, I mean, I'm not against it at all, to be honest. Yeah.
That's the thing. I feel like if you're getting the same price as Alex Smith, like Andy Dalton has a higher chance of getting that bonus points for 300 yards
Yeah.
than Alex Smith. So it's kind of what I'm not projecting, but kind of what I'm thinking. Like other guys around there, they don't really have that chance of getting that bonus.
Agreed. Who have I got? I've got James Winston, and I'm going back to the well again. Alex Smith. 325 yards against the Giants in week 9, 390 last week against Detroit. Yes, it was Detroit. 55 attempts. Obviously didn't throw a touchdown. 19 points. 5,300. I think he's getting a little bit more settled in that offense. It's against Cincinnati. I really quite like him this week. I quite like a few Washington football team players this week.
Got to be careful with that one.
That we do. Let's go on to let's go on to running backs.
No, sorry, 1 second, Jamie. Tag on myself. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
No, sorry, don't worry about it. Tua. I like Tua this week. Yeah, a bit of a different one. Obviously, sticking to that theme, you mentioned how maybe first week he came in wasn't great and then developed off that. Tua was that guy basically, and hasn't thrown a pickle season yet. In the three games he started,
you've had to say it, didn't you?
Yeah, well,
hasn't done that.
And last week he actually returned a pretty decent DK points total for his value. So obviously, if we're thinking Denver's going to get absolutely battered by Miami, then there's a good chance that Tua is going to have a chance of scoring a good points total and returning that like 4 times value you need from that position. So at 5'8", I quite like the play. I don't think there's too much Miami bias coming into it, but yeah, I do like it. And if he has a rushing upside as well that you kind of need for your DFS QB sometimes, quite like it.
Denver defense isn't as good as people think, and I said that last week.
No, it's completely.
Who did they play last week? Who did Denver play? I can't remember.
I remember now. It's bad, isn't it?
But I'm pretty certain.
They played the Raiders.
Yeah, and
there you go.
Absolutely carved up. Their defense is not what it should be. Okay, yeah, no, that's interesting. I hadn't really jumped into my thoughts, but I might have to have a bit more of a look into that. Start us off, Liam, with running backs.
So 2 for me. I know one of them's on your radar, but I will mention the other one.
Oh, you can mention both. It's fine.
Okay. Well, I'll start with Jamie McKissick then. The Washington football team running back. More wide receiver these days than my targets he's getting. But yeah, what's it, Jamie?
Dual on sleeper, running back and wide receiver. That's handy.
How many? It's like a ridiculous amount of targets the past
2
weeks.
29 targets.
That's absolutely mental. If a wide receiver even got those stats, you'd be amazed by it. So the fact that a running back's getting it by trade, it's hard to ignore. And Cincinnati isn't going to do anything about that, in my opinion. 5,200 hasn't really seen that scale of price increase you'd expect after that type of performance.
No.
And if you can chip in with a touchdown that you got last week as well, you're looking at a really nice play at that price.
He had 15 targets last week, and he had 11 at halftime. It's ridiculous. Alex Smith loves a dump off. I like JD McKissick again this week. Rich, is there going to be any JD McKissick in any of your lineups?
I'll probably have some of him, but the one of the cheaper guys that I'm looking at is Rex Burkhead.
Oh, sexy Rexy.
Sexy Rexy. Just need to stay with nicknames. That's what I think I've decided.
He won me some money on Monday night. Or was it something?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think I might have written this or I tweeted it or something. But it seems like everyone says that the Patriots running back is difficult to project. But the thing is, they actually all have like very individual jobs. And Rex Burkhead is the kind of that just utility player. So like, we're going to do a run or a pass. I don't know. Stick Rex out.
Yeah.
Like, so I think, he's getting a lot of work. The last 2 games, he's had 12 rush attempts, 3 targets. Last week, he he's kind of saved his fantasy performance with 2 touchdowns, and he's going up against Houston, which god awful defending running backs.
Worst in the league defending running backs, allowing 167.4 yards a game.
Wow.
I mean, in terms of points, they're only behind the Packers and the Lions.
So they're utter garbage.
Yeah. So that's like, I think that's a really kind of good cheap option to have if you want to spend up elsewhere.
Yeah. One of my guys is a teammate of his. If I can find him, it's Damien Harris. From what I've seen with Damien Harris this season, and I'm not going to say I've watched loads and loads of him, but he's looked really, really good running the ball. And we've just talked about this Houston rush defense, which is just horrendous. 22, he's seeing the attempts, 22 last week, 14 for 71 the week before, 16 for 102 the week before that. You saw a touchdown against Buffalo in week 8. I didn't see one the last couple of weeks. At 5,700, for me, this is a bit of a... I think you're going to get a solid floor, a fairly safe floor with Harris. But I think he could genuinely blow the absolute doors off this week. I really think he could. I would not be shocked to see 150 yards and 2 touchdowns next to him on the stat column after this game against Houston, because the Patriots are just a better team running the ball than they are passing it.
So what you're saying is they're a better team when they don't give Cam Newton the ball?
They don't ask him to throw it 30 times a game. Yes, I am.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're a running team. Liam, have you got anyone else?
I'll give brief mention to Naheem Hines. Same price as McKissick, I believe, 5,200. I mean, it's kind of debating who's going to be that back for Indy right this week against Green Bay, and I'm kind of hoping it'll be Hines. Whenever he seems to get touches, he seems to do pretty well with them, and I feel that he's going to appreciate that faith and the dependability he can bring to the table when perhaps Jonathan Taylor and Jordan Wilkins maybe can't do that for him. And, Green Bay, I think Houston are the worst, and Green Bay must be second worst in terms of matchups against our opposing RBs. So, I mean, if you're looking, I wouldn't say it's the safest play in the world, but if you're looking for a nice budget option around that price, then Hines is worth a shout, in my opinion.
I think the interesting thing about the Colts backfield is they seem to give Jonathan Taylor the first shot at it. And then after about 6 or 7 attempts, they go, this isn't working. And bring in Naheem Hines and he goes off and scores 2 touchdowns or whatever it will be. I think you can probably... I quite like Naheem Hines this week at 5,200. I wouldn't put anyone off playing Taylor either at 5,800 against his Packers run defense. I think you need to get a bit lucky if you're going to pick between the two of them, obviously. But Rich, you're a Packers fan. Who would you suggest, or would you say play both of them because your run defense is great?
I'd say maybe even in your lineups, there's 2 running back spots, Hines and Taylor. It seemed like they're both probably run us over. So
do what I did last week and with McKissick and Antonio Gibson. It worked. It might work this week. If the Colts are they'll just run the ball. Don't let Phillip Rivers throw interceptions. Well, Rich is hoping they do anyway. Rich, have you got another kind of mid to low price running back you quite like?
I'm going to say Kalen Ballage, and I hate myself for saying it.
I'm joining you on that, mate. He was my.
It's just I feel gross about doing it. I don't really want to do it because I honestly think I'd much rather play Rex Burkhead, who's 1,000 less. But you can't really argue with how much usage he got.
Yeah.
Last week, I fully expected that the team were going to use Pope.
So yes.
I thought so bad. I do like an expert chat with Roto Baller, and one of the biggest questions I had was, is Kalen Ballage okay to put in my team? And I'm like, I'm really worried about the amount of touches that Pope will have. I'm worried about the amount of touches he'll have. And then I'm like, shit, Like, it's just Kane and Ballage just ran away with it, which is ironic because he doesn't really run that well. So
He looks like a totally different player, as if he's managed to get away from Adam Gase.
it's almost like it's almost like we've seen some type of trend of this. Players leave Adam Gase's coaching and go on to be really good. Nah. Adam Gase is an offensive coach, so that can't happen.
TV whisperer, I think.
An offensive genius. That's what he was.
Yeah, I mean,
after Peyton Manning.
Right. What I say is, in all of the offenses where he's had Peyton Manning, he's been phenomenal. That's facts. You can't deny that.
You can't deny that. No, I feel it's that the same way as you do about Caleb Ballage. It felt horrible and a bit dirty, kind of writing it down and making him on the list. But the fact that he saw 15 attempts against Las Vegas for 69 and then 18 for 68. And targets last week was 6 targets, 5 receptions. He's seeing targets, he's seeing receptions. He's seeing rushing attempts. This is the Jets defense. I'm pretty close to lock and loading him, if I'm brutally honest. And that feels really, really weird to say. So that was the running backs that we quite like, mid to low value price range. Let's go on to wide receivers. Rich, I'm going to ask you again. Start us off with a wide receiver in the that kind of low value.
Okay, so I went with Andy Dalton at quarterback. I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb at wide receiver, 5,000.
You like it?
I just think if I'm backing Dalton to turn it around, then I think Lamb's probably going to be a part of that. Like he's had a really good start of his career in his rookie season. So
yeah,
I don't think there's any reason to not want him. I think this Minnesota secondary, we've seen that can definitely be ripped apart, and I think Lamb will do that.
Rich, I'm getting the feeling that you might be starting Andy Dalton and CeeDee Lamb in your SLD lineup. Just by your fact that you said you're stars and you are literally going balls out if you're going for it.
Well, I've not decided, but they are definitely like strong contenders because I just think now I'm just got to buy into like I can't be playing it safe. So my strategy now is balls to the wall. So
you don't want that lowest point ever.
Don't care. If you're not first, you're last. So I'm just shooting now. If I end up with the lowest score in the whole competition, then so what? I had fun doing it. So
I like it. I do like that, mate. Liam, what are your thoughts on CeeDee Lamb, Liam?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not a bad matchup at all, and I was actually hoping that Dalton's going to come back and be the Dalton that we know he can be in terms of the red rifle. I think there is better plays out there in terms of that price range, but I feel if you are going with Dalton, it makes sense to go with Lamb as well as kind of a stacking option. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd go for Lamb as like a standalone.
No, yeah, exactly.
It would have to be like as probably a stack.
The only thing that I have a tiny concern about the Dallas passing game, is that the Minnesota defense has played a little bit better these last couple of weeks. They haven't played.
Don't start raining on my parade.
Okay? No.
I'm too emotionally fragile to have that.
No. I'm not saying it would put me off. I'm just saying that they have played a little bit better these last couple of weeks, which still doesn't make them any good, but it's just something to keep in the back of your mind. But at 5,000, I quite like the price on Lamb there. Liam, what about you, buddy?
Yes, I'm going down $100 less to the Jacoby Myers of the Pats. He's seen 31.6% target share over the last 5 weeks, so week 5 to 10. And that's the second highest in the whole league in terms of receivers, only behind Mr. Devontae Adams. And, he seems to be Cam Newton's guy at the moment of Edelman out, and Harry perhaps not being very good.
Shit, yes.
Yeah, I never liked him, to be honest, Harry. I never understood the hype, to be completely frank. And Myers has taken the opportunity pretty well, and don't believe Houston are very good against anyone and on the defense side of the ball. So if you maybe the running game might be a prominent element of New England's game on Sunday, but if you're looking for that one passing option, then I think Myers is your guy, and at that price, absolute steal, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I do like Jacoby. He was kind of on my list. I put a tweet out, I think nearly a year ago. It was definitely in November last year, which said Jacoby Myers was the rookie wide receiver that you want from the Patriots.
Good call.
And it's taken him a bit of time and a few injuries to get there. But yeah, he's a talented guy. I didn't see the hype on N'Keal Harry like similar to you, Liam. I'm just happy to see Jacoby balling out, to put it politely, at 4,900 in a very nice matchup. That's quite a tasty play. Let's go for me. Who am I gonna? I'm not gonna mess around here. I'm going back to the well. Same every single time. It's Deontay Johnson. I put a tweet out saying I wonder if DraftKings this week will be the week that DraftKings finally priced him up correctly, and 5,900 in my opinion they haven't. I still think he's a little bit too cheap. He should be. I reckon he should be nearer where Juju is at 64 at least. He's a target machine. When he's healthy, 11 targets last week, 10 the week before, 15 a couple of weeks before that when he was healthy, then 13 in week 2, 10 in week. He's just, if I want, I think you can take any piece of this Steelers receiver game out, Juju or Deontay or Claypool. Deontay's the cheapest. Yeah, give me some 5,900, especially going up against Jacksonville. I do quite like him. Rich, who else have you got, mate?
I've got quite a sick bucket kind of player.
Oh, this is what we like.
Willie Snead.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's the same thing with Kalen Balazs. Like I know I don't like it, but I kind of feel like if you really want to spend down, like I was surprised when I look back. So Pittsburgh and New England. It might be that against tough matchups they look towards Willie Snead.
Yeah.
As a dump off, and that could be the trend that we're seeing because he has struggled against some lesser defenses. But then the Colts were a pretty good unit as well. So I don't know. It could be nothing, but I think if you're looking to catch lightning, with it being PPR, he's getting a decent-ish number of targets. I'm not saying I really like it, but he's worth considering.
I think with Snead, you're right in saying kind of matchup is important. I think if the Ravens are chasing, but if the Ravens need to put points on the board, going up against, I don't know, Tennessee, they might do because the Tennessee offense is pretty damn good as well. Then Lamar Jackson's going to have to throw a bit more, which kind of puts a bit more kind of upside on Willie Snead. 4,500. The price I think is pretty fair. I quite like him this week as well. Liam, what do you think about Willie Snead?
I mean, let's look at his target share. He's seen a pretty consistent amount, considering with Lamar Jackson at QB and how volatile his passing ability can be at times, and how the volume of it. I mean, Tennessee's a bad match. Got a good matchup from Baltimore's perspective. And at the price, I don't see anything wrong with it, to be honest.
Let's have a go. Liam, have you got anybody else?
I will mention the TD vulture and Curtis Samuel at 4,700. It's probably a bit of a contradiction in terms of me wanting to play Mike Davis, maybe playing Samuel as well. It's a bit of a risk. But as you can see, the past couple of weeks, he got TDs against the Falcons and Kansas City, and as well with the Kansas City performance, he actually saw decent amount of work as well in terms of receptions.
Yeah.
So at that price, I don't mind playing him. I'm not sure if I'm going to get there in my main cash lineups yet, but it's something I'm considering for sure.
Yeah, no, he's definitely someone to kind of keep an eye on. But yeah, 4,700 seems pretty fair for him. I've got two that I quite like. Where am I looking here? It's Justin Jefferson against the Dallas defense, which is pretty porous. He's similar to CD Lamb. I think they've both had really, really good rookie seasons so far. Coming off a game where he had 10 targets, 8 receptions for 135 yards. I think that is the fourth game over 100 yards he's had this year. 135 against Chicago, 166 against the Falcons, 103 against Houston, 175 against Tennessee. It just screams I think Thielen is obviously the number one guy there. But if I think they're going to pass the ball a fair bit against Dallas. I think it's going to be a bit more difficult to run the ball, even though they have got Dalvin Cook, the Vikings. Yes, I quite like Justin Jefferson this week. I think he could put up a pretty nice stat line. So he was one. And the other guy was pretty much a staple, I think, for the Slate Mashup, Brandon Cooks. My thinking behind this is, yes, the New England defense is okay. It's nowhere near as good as it was the year before. Is it? I'm trying to think. Who's the main defensive?
You've got Gilmore and JC Jackson at the two corners.
I think Gilmore. I don't know. I don't know this. I suspect Gilmore might be taken up by Will Fuller.
This is the thing. It's a coin flip, isn't it? Because Bill Belichick always tries to take away one piece of an offense. Is it going to be Cooks or is it going to be Fuller? Don't know. You probably won't know until the day.
No, you won't. I lean it will be Fuller. That's just me. But then again, Cook's old ex-player, he might go. Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? But I like the price at 5,200. He's 9,998 targets the last 4 weeks. I think that the Texans are going to have to run the ball, not run the ball, pass the ball. I mean, fair bit. Yeah, 5,200. I quite like it. Anybody else? Has anyone got a dirt cheap?
Jalen Reagor.
Actually, yeah, he was on my list, to be fair. Yeah, Jalen Reagor, yeah.
What's his price?
Yeah.
42, 43?
43.
Yeah, going up against Cleveland.
Targets.
Yeah.
This is it's the thing. Like, he didn't catch that many or do too much with him last week. But if he does get it, I mean, there's not a lot of other options out there for Wentz. So
hopefully, weather behaves itself, eh?
Yeah, I suspect it's going to be fairly similar weather. That's my only concern.
Yeah.
There is one who is a dirt cheap. I'm just trying to find him. Deontay Harris for the Saints.
See, I just don't know. Like, this is the thing. I said I want Winston, but I don't know if I want any of the receivers because I just don't know who it's going to be.
My only thinking behind this is Winston's going to be playing with the second team in practice, isn't he? Deontay Harris is probably going to be on the second team in practice. When backup quarterbacks come in, they usually have a connection with a backup player.
But like Winston isn't like a normal backup. Like he might even get Mr. Slanty himself. Just say, Michael Thomas will be in the huddle. Say, Jameis, I'm going to run a slant. No, 9 route. That's what everyone's doing. 9 routes. I'll get you the ball. Don't worry about it. You just haul ass downfield, and I'll get it. Do not worry.
I think at 3,200, if I've stacked my team and I've got around the 32, 3,500 in my for a flex, I'm going to smash him in for that. Just hope that he does something.
He's a GBP play, isn't he? He's not.
Yes,
he's not,
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
If you're playing him in cash, you're very brave. I'll put it that way.
If you're playing him cash, like, you just don't like it. Like, you just don't like cash. Right? So.
Just chucking it away. All right, so there are wide receivers. Let's go on to tight ends. Rich starts with a tight end you quite like.
I've got quite a few that I quite like. So I think I mentioned Dallas Goedert in the expensive section, but I just want to touch on him again. I mean, the Eagles don't have that many offensive weapons at the moment. I mean, when you're looking to rush Alshon Jeffrey coming back, then it's not exactly gone well for you.
No.
So he's 3,800. Yeah, he missed some time with injury, but he's kind of stepped straight back in and getting a decent number of targets, which is quite ideal, really, for a tight end. And with he always has touchdown upside as well. So
yeah, agreed.
And I'd say I wouldn't do it, but yeah, Logan Thomas.
Yeah, I knew you would.
I knew you would. He's on my list as well, Rich.
Yeah, it's like Logan Thomas. Like, I know I said pre-record, like, I don't really want him because I'm like a hipster when it comes to tight ends. Like, I don't want him when everyone else wants him.
The tight end hipster.
Yeah, that's it. I might get that. Sounds like a t-shirt.
You should so get it.
So it's just check down city, isn't it, in Washington? So I think Logan Thomas is definitely worth an ad,
especially today.
Yeah, I guess. And the last one I'll go for is the red-nosed reindeer, Kyle Rudolph.
No Irv Smith. Why Rudolph? Is it just because it's Dallas?
Yeah, just because it's Dallas. That's literally it. I mean, we've seen he's been effective when he's been given the ball. I mean, I know he had the fumble last week, but without Irv Smith, I'm assuming Irv Smith isn't going to play. I don't think I've seen that he's out officially yet.
Yeah.
But if he does, then Kyle Rudolph's getting a decent number of targets. Like he always seems like he just gets better towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
So I don't know, call it narrative or whatever you want, but 3,200, it's not bad. Not a bad shout.
Cool. Lim, who have you got, mate?
So I had Thomas. We won't talk about him. Talk about Daniel Parham Jr., Stone Mint 2,500.
Oh, yeah, I do.
The tight end vulture.
Yeah, I do like him.
Yeah, I've been playing Hunter Henry, have him a lot in fantasy leagues, and I think he got a touchdown recently, but it just seems to be this guy that keeps nicking the touchdowns, and it's quite frustrating, to say the least. And against the New York Jets, it's going to be any man's game in terms of getting touchdowns. And if you're really after the tournament play and you need some sort of cash saving options, and I think Parham's going to be one of your guys potentially in a position where, honestly, we've been shooting for the fences anyway, and hoping that these players actually do well, because for whatever theory we have, it just doesn't seem to matter at this point. So I don't mind Parham at all.
No, there was Parham in the off season. I think, wasn't he XFL? I think he was.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
I think
you have better knowledge than me.
I think he was, but there was kind of a little bit of buzz about him in the off season. I think I've got him in a couple of.
Yeah, he was in the XFL.
Yeah, a couple
Dallas
of
Renegades.
Yeah, he did. I think he did pretty well. It's nice to see him. He's not seen a huge amount of the ball, let's put it that way. But yeah,
he's just a red zone guy. That's all he is, literally.
He's a big guy as well.
Yeah. Herbert, let's throw it out to him.
Yes. Anybody else?
Not from me.
I've got one other. Obviously, I have Logan Thomas on there as well. So all three of us like him this week. So yeah, he's going to suck. I've got Zach Ertz if he's eligible to play. I think he's practicing. I think as it says here on DraftKings, he's eligible to return now. So if he's back for the game against Cleveland, I quite like him. Yes, he didn't do fantastically before he got hurt, but he's kind of a real focal point of that offense. And Wentz has just played absolute garbage since he's gone. He's played garbage anyway, let's be brutally honest. But I think this is the cheapest you're ever going to see Zach Ertz. I think 37. Yeah, it's been 5,800, 56, 51, 57, 5,000 for all the games he's played this year. So 3,700. If he gets a full practice in, and he's off IR and he's back in the lineup, yeah, I'm happy to start him. Thoughts on Zach Ertz, lads?
I mean, yeah, you're right on the price. I imagine, if he is activated, that is cheapest you're going to get him all season. And we had similar theory with CMC a couple of weeks ago, right, where it was cheap enough to which he was almost a must play, and he got near enough 40 DK points on the game. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind the play, and especially in a position, as you said, where it's really hard to predict what's going to happen. So yeah, don't mind it at all.
I say for him to hit 3 times value, you're 10, 11 points. And Zach Ertz should be able to get that. He should be able to get that. Defense, Liam.
Yeah, I struggled here. I was looking at the Lions a little bit in case Teddy Bridgewater doesn't play. I think it's PJ Walker's the backup to him, and I don't remember him doing an awful lot. So maybe you could look at the Lions. But I'm mostly sticking with the two that I mentioned earlier, Miami and Cleveland. I think those two are the nice values this week. And especially with Detroit at 2.7, you're only paying up like a really small amount to get up to those two. So yeah, Lions if you are looking to pay down, but for me, I'd just pay up for either Cleveland or Miami.
Cool. Rich, what about you, buddy?
I've got 2. Washington football team.
Yeah.
Against Cincinnati. Just the pressure that they'll be able to bring with their defensive line on what we know is a bad offensive line for Cincinnati.
Yep.
And Green Bay Packers. They've not been bad, but like they've been quite consistent with what they've been able to get. Like the pressures that they're able to bring the quarterback are relatively consistent. They've got a decent secondary now. So if Rivers does throw any errant passes, then we could see a couple of picks here as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I think you're going to get a pick from Phillip Rivers this week. It's just what Phillip Rivers does, isn't it? So, so Rich, you've gone with a homer pick in the Packers, and I'm going with a homer pick in the Falcons.
Are you just assuming that Jameis throws 58,000 interceptions?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Falcons
Liam, just let you know, whenever Jamie tips the Falcons, it's when they go off. Like,
okay, all right, yeah.
Just to let you know, it's when they start it's one or 2 times a season when they decide we're actually going to tackle today.
Yeah,
just so you know. So if Jamie tips them, then now I'm just going to change all my lineups to the Falcons.
Fair enough.
The way I'm, yes, it's Jameis Winston. He's prone to the odd interception, the odd pick six. This is a huge rivalry game. They hate each other. It's the Falcons, it's the Saints. Your records go out the window. This is literally, we're going to try and beat the living shit out of each other. That's basically what this game is. And with Jameis Winston in there, 2,300, if you're looking to pay down, it's a massive, it could go tits up, but yeah, you could see 10, 12 points, three odd interceptions or a pick six or whatever it will be. But yeah, it's a brave play. Let's put it that way. It's a brave play. Okay, so that's our mid to low kind of value plays that we like. Let's go on to stacks. Rich, give us one of your stacks, mate.
Herbert and Allen. It's quite an expensive one. 14,200 if I did my maths correctly. No guarantee I did.
Did you use a calculator?
No, just did it in my head.
I quite like that, mate. I do. If, as I say, you pointed out Herbert and Allen in your kind of the plays you like, and it's the Jets. Yeah, I think you could pretty much play most of the Chargers' offense, couldn't you?
Yeah, I think so. I do also have a cheaper one, which is going to be no surprise. Red Rifle and CD Lamb.
No.
I have to mention both as like value plays. Like I felt like you kind of have to throw them both in, right? So
yeah, I like them. Liam, what about you, buddy?
So Teddy B's a go. I like him and Robbie Anderson as a stack.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean it's Detroit, so that's all you need to know really. And it's 12k for the stack in total, so not too bad.
That's
quite a nice
pretty
price.
reasonable. Yep.
Yeah. And the other one I had is Salvan Ahmed and the Miami Dolphins defense.
Whoa.
Which is interesting.
Running back DST stack. Nice.
Yeah, it makes sense, because obviously if you think Miami are going to dominate the game, which if they're playing against Ripien, I'd like to think they will. So then obviously if Ahmed's getting on touch at the end of the game, you can't generate points.
So yeah. Question with that: are you? Because I've only seen like early reports that Matt Breida still. He's limited in practice.
Yeah.
Do you think he plays? Because if he plays, for me, Matt Breida probably gets quite a lot of the touches, especially if the team's decided to let Jordan Howard go. Like it indicates to me, make it seem like they're going to play him.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, thank God Jordan Howard's gone. Absolute waste of cap space. But I feel Ahmed's kind of earned his spot and earned his touches now. Especially last week, we had such a brilliant game. And yeah, I think Breida made steals and patch catching work, perhaps. But I feel in terms of the majority of the carries, I'd like to feel Ahmed will get those. And I can't remember exactly what his price is, but I think he's around the high 4K range. So for a guy who's going to see like 15 to 18 touches, that's decent too.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's interesting. I don't think we've had a running back defense stack this year.
Yeah, we're all looking to change it up, Jamie.
Always got to just
keep people on the toes.
I like it. I've got two stacks.
I mean, we had your running back stack. That was
yeah, true. Yeah, and it paid off. So
yeah, sometimes every squirrel finds a nut, as they say, isn't it? Every squirrel finds a nut. My two stacks are Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley, and Hayden Hurst.
I like that stack. Yeah.
Which comes to 17,700. And if you're feeling frisky, shove the Falcons defense in there at 2,300, and then you got 20,000 invested.
Yeah, no one's feeling that frisky, mate. No one's feeling that frisky.
Not in cash anyway.
You never know. My second stack is I'm going back to the well. I'm going back to my pretty much similar stack to last week when the look on your face when I said it, Liam, was a picture. It's Alex Smith at 5,300, Joni McKissick at 52. But instead of Antonio Gibson this week, I'm chucking in Terry McLaurin at 6,900, and that comes in at 17,400. And if you really want to go to full hog, chuck in Logan Thomas at 3,300 as well. So yeah, I've got two 3-player stacks with the option of a 4. So yeah, I quite like both of them this week. Are any of you boys going to be playing the Washington football team stack this week? Or was it just me?
I might have a look. I mean, I'm playing McKissick anyway, so, call them and play, why not?
You never know. Right, stacks are over. Player of the week. Let's get down to business. Liam, one guy that is a must start. Decisions. You haven't made your mind up yet, have you?
No. I'm going to go with Keenan Allen, I think. I think it's just too obvious not to. And I do feel he's going to see the majority of targets from Herbert again after a pretty down week last week. So, yeah, if you're paying it for one guy this week, 7,400, I think I'll pay it for Keenan Allen personally.
Rich?
I'm going to say Alvin Kamara. Big boy.
Oh, he's 9,200.
9,200, yeah.
Pricey.
It's against the Falcons.
It's pricey, but you're literally getting 2 positions in one.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Yes, I do agree. Mine, I've ummed and ahed between two. But I'm going with DeAndre Swift against the Panthers, 6,400. Last week hopefully showed Patricia exactly what DeAndre Swift can do, and hopefully he continued giving him the ball. I really like him this week. Deontay Johnson was a very close second. Busts of the week. Rich. Bust of the week.
Bust of the week is easier because you can just just choose a player and just say, he's going to suck. So I'm going to say AJ Brown.
I almost said AJ Brown for mine. I like it.
Just going up against, Baltimore. They're gonna, if you're the defensive coordinator of for Baltimore, are you going to say, as much as I like Corey Davis, I feel as though they might say, should we cover that Brown kid, AJ Brown? Yeah, he might be a better cover. And their defense is solid. Like, if they want to stop you passing, then they will. So
cool. Liam, bust of the week.
Yeah, so close second to me was James Robinson, despite all the touches he gets. Obviously, going against Pittsburgh, not a great matchup.
Yeah.
But my actual bust of the week is Aaron Rodgers at 7K. Way too high of a price for going up against Indianapolis defense.
Rich is not happy. He's shaking.
Don't say that. It's like, as a Packers fan, I just need him to just do the business, So I don't want you.
Yeah, and unfortunately this week, Rich, he's not going to do business at all, mate. Indianapolis defense, one of the best in the league in terms of generating turnovers and just disrupting QBs. And Aaron Rodgers has had it pretty easy the past few weeks, right?
You can pass on the Indy defense, though, can't you?
Yeah, you can, but I don't think they will.
That's fair.
They're going to be easing Lazard back in this week after he's finally got activated off IR. And literally all they've got to do to a greater extent is just triple team Adams and hope that pays off. So, I think for his price, he's just not generating the points value that you need from that position. So, Aaron Rodgers is 7K for me.
Cool. My bust of the week was it was almost AJ Brown. It was so close, but I went for another Brown. I went for Marquise Brown. I don't understand why he's 5,800. Seriously, what has he done to be valued at 5,800? What has he done to be valued 1,000 less than Deontay Johnson, 2,000 less than Justin Jefferson, fucking 600 more than Brandon Cooks? I just seriously, if Marquise Brown gets 10 points, you're jumping for joy.
It's the air yards.
I don't care. I'm looking. It just no.
I'm telling you, that's why. It's air yards. Like you asked me a question, Jamie, and what I've done there is I've answered it for you. So the answer is it's the air yards. That's what.
Just don't. I'm saying it. Don't play Marquise Brown. You'll be just watching. He's going to go off now, isn't he? I said that. 5,800. Marquise Brown for me is definitely not going to be played by me, and it's my bust of the week. Right, guys, before we get on to our lineups for this week, we've got a couple of listener questions. We've already spoken about Martin at Lucky Fantasy Guys, question about Jameis Winston. We've got one from at Bestball UK NFL, and that is the thoughts on Michael Gallup at 3,700 this week against a bad Vikings secondary. What are your thoughts?
Rich, want to take that one?
Yeah, I'll go first. So he, for me, feels like a GVP play. Like, he's very matchup dependent. The one thing that we have seen is that I think in the games where Andy Dalton has been in, Gallup has seen more targets. But, I mean, yes, the price is great. The risk is huge because you could be looking at a game where it's Lamb and Cooper, and Gallup is very much the third or fourth guy on offense. So I assume if you're thinking that you're going to have to spend on him, that you've spent up big elsewhere. So I don't hate it, but it's not someone I'd be targeting. I'd much rather pay up a little bit more and get like a Jalen Reagor, the 4,300. I'd feel much more comfortable with him as opposed to Gallup.
Yeah, I think he's purely a tournament player, as you said, Rich. And I might even be tempted to go to CeeDee Lamb rather than Gallup, just because of maybe the less volatile chance that he, Lamb will get more targets than Gallup. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a price he's below 4K for me, but Yeah, it's very risky, and I think there's plenty of other options that, unless you're going with a Dallas stack, I would probably avoid it for me.
Am I the only one who's thinking the way he's approaching this is that when Dalton was last seen, he seemed to have a fairly good connection with Gallup? Is that?
Yeah, I think Rich mentioned it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got the targets when he was with Dalton. The thing is, I don't feel good about it at all. I just don't feel good about it. Like,
It's a hit for the fences, isn't it? It's
it's definitely so it's one of those where in the season-long DFS, like, I could talk myself into doing it because it's like a swing for the fences. But even with a swing for the fences, like, I feel like you're capped with what you're going to expect. Like, he doesn't have a hugely high ceiling.
Yeah.
Which, if I'm swinging for the fences, like MVS last week, perfect example. Swing for the fences with him, huge plays, bang. Gallup doesn't really have that in his locker, I don't think.
If you literally just told us that you are going to be starting the Red Rifle, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup in going big or going home.
I'm not deciding my lineup for season-long DFS, but I'm going to be swinging for the fences.
I like it. We've got one more from at Sporting Minute on Twitter. He is part of the season-long DFS competition. Rich, I want you to start off answering this, if possible. This is what you said, a generic question. How do you look to prioritise your lineup? Do you go with RBs first? Do you go with wide receivers first? What general tactics do you employ? Rich?
I'll be totally honest. When I'm looking to do lineup, I click on both to start with, running backs and wide receivers, and just see generally how many options there are, which teams are on the slate, and then I'll build it around that. So if I feel like there's not that many running back plays that I'm particularly happy with, then I'll start with running back and then work backwards. If there's loads of running backs that I'm happy with, then I'll start wide receiver and work backwards. So it really depends week to week what I'm going to be doing. So,
Liam, what about you, mate?
So I like to start with the RBs first, just purely to see out of the premium options, what we're looking at, who maybe budget-wise you could play, and then I also like to target DST early, just to see are there any budget options that are available, as I feel that can be the real difference in terms of differentiating your lineup from others. Hitting on that big defensive play like Miami was the other week, and in part the Rams were last week as well. It gives you that nice 10, 15 point boost that you might need to win your cash game or go from $2 in the tournament to maybe 100. And then after that, I kind of just see where I'm at with either playing a high price defense and then high price running backs and go from there.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with defenses as well, is if you look at how much you're paying per point between the top and bottom, it's quite a lot.
Yeah,
because it's so volatile. I think a couple of weeks ago, I tipped the Giants in as a defense, a budget defense, and I think they might be one of the highest scoring defenses. But even if they weren't, in terms of value, they gave you so much more. And if you're looking just to get 5 to 6 points, then you can spend right the way down. So that's what I'd recommend as well. Try and look at. When you look at defense, I basically look at the cheapest option that doesn't make me throw up.
I'm slightly different. I will always start with defense. First position I will look at is defense, and I will find a defense that I like. It's not always the most expensive, not always the cheapest, and then the likelihood is I'm going to go and look for a running back that I like, and so it's going to go defense, running back. And then it's the wide receiver, the QB and wide receiver, and trying to find a stack that I like and going from there. And then, that's kind of the backbone. So if I'm getting the QB that I want, one running back, one wide receiver, and the defense, then the rest will just fit in with that. So a lot of people will do it totally differently to me, where defense will be the last thing, and as long as they've got 2,000 left to chuck on the cheapest defense, they don't give a crap. But yeah, and they're probably the ones that are making all the hundreds of thousands of dollars every week doing it. But yeah, no, it's really weird. I don't know why. I think maybe part of it is just I want to get the defense out of the way. I don't want to have to think about it. I quite like them. I'll bang them in and see what my team looks like. That's kind of where I'm at with that. So hopefully, at Sporting Minute, that has kind of, I wouldn't say helped, but given you an insight to how we kind of approach it all. Right, shall we get on to our lineups?
Yeah,
this is the point where Rich gets really excited. If anyone's actually watching this and see him, he's kind of like the little head bob. Oh yeah, I cannot wait.
Well, I said I was going. I feel like I'm just going to go balls out in all competitions with you guys now.
Awesome.
So my quarterback is Jameis Winston.
Yep.
Running backs, Alvin Kamara, DeAndre Swift.
Yep.
Wide receivers are Deontay Johnson.
Yep.
Myers and Rager.
Oh.
Tight end is Thomas. Flex is Mike Davis, and my DST is the Cleveland Browns. Suck it.
I like that. Liam, what about yours?
So QB is Tua. Running back is Mike Davis and JD McKissick. Wide receivers Keenan Allen, DJ Chark, and Myers. Tight end Hayden Hurst. Flex DeAndre Swift. Defense Miami Dolphins.
Interesting. You've both got Jacoby Myers in there.
Yeah.
And you've both got DeAndre Swift in there as well.
And Mike Davis.
And oh God. Let's try and find my lineup. My lineup is Matt Ryan, 6,300, DeAndre Swift at 64, Damian Harris at 57, Deontay Johnson at 59. I'm not screwed doing the prices. Calvin Ridley, my stat with Matt Ryan, Justin Jefferson. My tight end is Zach Ertz if he's healthy. If not, I'm pivoting to Logan Thomas, and that's fine. Logan Thomas is cheaper. My flex is Kalen Ballage.
Oh, God. That is ballsy, bloody hell.
Yeah, Rich just threw up in his mouth for anyone who's just listening and not watching. And my defense is the Miami Dolphins. And that is, I have $0 left.
Yeah, so do I actually.
I have 300.
Ooh. Who's your tight end? Who's your tight end?
Thomas.
Yeah, you're saying I would have 300 if I had Thomas as well, but I paid up a little bit more for Ertz. So I think this is interesting this week.
I don't know if you can do maths, Jamie.
What do you mean?
Well, if you've got nothing left and you can pay down Thomas and you have 300 left, then you must be working on alternative pricing because Zach Ertz is 3,700.
Yeah, and Thomas is 34.
He's 33.
Okay, so I'll have 100 then. I've got 34 written down here. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks, Rick. But okay, I'm just going to get one back here. Let's talk about last week's little heads up, shall we?
I didn't even look at it, which probably means I didn't do well.
Rich, you didn't come last.
Yeah,
it's three of us.
Yeah, you didn't come last. Liam, yeah, I'm not going to say the scoring because the scoring wasn't great for us.
Yeah, let's not talk about the scoring.
But Liam finished third. He was, how many points? 14 points behind Rich, who finished second. And Rich was only 2.5 points behind me. So, yeah, I managed to get one on the board there. Stop Liam winning again.
Evan Ingram killed me already, didn't he?
Yeah.
3.3 points. Unbelievable.
That was brutal.
Didn't we all have Evan Ingram?
Yeah, he's my player of the week.
No, I had Dallas Goddard.
No, you didn't have him yet. Dallas Goddard.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't great, was it?
If I had Dallas Goddard, who was cheaper, then I would have won.
Yeah. But you didn't, so.
Oh, fuck.
Right, boys. Thank you for joining me. Where can we find you? Rich, where can we find you on Twitter?
KFancy_sports or Rich King FF.
Liam, where can we find you?
At Dolphin Abroad.
And you can find me at Jamie_Byram KM and at Season Long DFS. The website for Season Long DFS is www.seasonlongdfs.com. We talked about this at the end of the last episode, myself and Liam. Rich, how's the IKEA situation going?
Yes, important information.
Yeah.
You need to say this.
Yeah, you can tell everyone that Rich didn't listen to last week's episode because he has no idea that we absolutely slated him and took the piss out of him.
I've not listened to it all because it was very long.
Yeah,
I'm a busy man.
Great insight from us. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well,
you might have won if you'd listened to us.
Well, didn't listen, still beat Liam. So what does that say?
Well, true. Yeah.
So I managed to speak to someone at IKEA.
Sure.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And they're sending out the replacement part. I don't know. This is going to be really bad for people that are on the audio, but you can see. Look at that.
Holy!
Yeah, look at that.
Right, there's that's a massive crack.
That's how it arrived. So that's why I was like, that's not really game on. So that's why I was pretty annoyed.
But Rich, did you like all my retweets and
not really?
You with all of the replies that IKEA did to everyone else by you?
Not really, Jamie. Wasn't really appreciated. I was in a quite an emotional state. I was sat in the fetal position in the corner for quite a while, just gently sobbing, mainly because of your tweets. But yeah,
we'll get over it. We'll get over it.
Yeah, I mean it's not as bad as it was. Like at least I've kind of made the rest of the desk or whatever. So got my new setup going.
Very nice.
I even cleaned out the Dyson. Like you can barely hear it now. It's unbelievable.
What does your setup look like? I'm interested.
This is really awful now.
It's great podcast content.
Yeah. So here you go. So I have a Kallax and a Kallax with drawers. There's the Dyson. Look at that. Look at that.
The little Dyson.
Yeah. And then I've got my dual screens.
Look at that. And look at his mic as well. Fancy.
Yeah, got a mic. I normally had a T.Y. Hilton signed jersey, and I got a JHIE, which is up here at the moment. While I sort out my stuff.
That's where JHIE should be, on the shelf. That's where I end up going. Probably next to the Hilton one. I've not decided if I want to switch it out. Magic happens. Is that a baby monitor as well?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's my son making a cameo.
As you said, not great podcasting, but good for people who just want to see where all the magic happens from everything from KFancy.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is the hub. This is where it happens. A lot of brain power.
From who?
My wife's normally nearby, so
yeah. Right, boys. Thank you very much for joining me again. I hope you boys have a good DFS week. Obviously not in season on DFS. I hope you guys suck and I score loads more points than you and I can stay number one. But every other competition, you can win loads of money. It's fine money. Rich's face. I love you.
That's just a general comment, or
no, just a general comment. Yeah, you're just your face, mate.
Just generally your face.
Yeah, your face. It's right there on my screen, unfortunately.
Well,
Rich, you know it's. I'm sending love, mate. I don't
want to hear it, Jamie.
I don't mean to sound horrible. Just don't leave me. Just don't leave me.
I don't want to hear it. I feel I'm a little bit emotional now.
Are we breaking up?
Yeah, it might do. I'll get my people to talk to your people.
All right, boys. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the games, and we shall speak next week.
Take it easy.
Take care.